Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Eat, Smoke, Drink. Today I am doing something a little bit different. One of the last few reviews I did was actually on a Tasmanian craft whiskey. Look, I'm going to be completely honest, when someone says to me craft whiskey, I am always skeptical, not because I don't believe that anyone else can make good whiskey, it's because I think that a lot of craft whiskies rush it, they cut corners, they don't have a good still, or they don't have a good base spirit, and if you screw up the base spirit, then the whole whiskey process is not going to be as good. You're already in a bad footing. Today I'm going to review, side by side, two different bottlings of the Divergence Whisky. The Divergence Whisky is a New Zealand single malt. It's about 3 to 4 years old, and they are aged in small barrels, okay, micro barrels. This one here is a virgin French oak. This one here is a 2-barrel configuration, sherry and port. So I've had these before the review because it's always, I just couldn't wait to open them. Beautifully presented, great labeling. These guys actually make a gin as well, Curiosity Gin. So yeah, so they actually make gin, like a lot of craft whiskey distilleries. They make gin to obviously bankroll their operation, because gin, once you've done it, it's instant, you can sell it, and then while they're putting barrels down to bed and waiting for it to age, they've got cash flow. So then these are these are the very first bottlings they have of whiskey, quote unquote whiskey. So let's get tasting and see how we go. The French oak, usually when I've had French oak before, like, virgin French oak, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a little bit too woody, too oaky, but let's see how it goes. Definitely a strong vanilla essence in there. Slightly floral. And a very, very mild hint of cinnamon spice. Sugar syrup. Definitely sweeter on the nose. An unripe apricot. And a slight pine cone resin in there as well. That could be from the oak. The virgin oak could be just a lot of resin coming out of it. But the nose is pleasant. It's not sharp, and surprisingly as well, for a young aged whiskey, I'm not getting a big separation with new make spirit. So straight away I'm getting an impression that the small barrels really made a difference. Let's nose the port and sherry blend. Much darker in colour, some sediment, a little bit of cloudiness forming there. Overripe fruit, a bit of incense, nutmeg, cinnamon, some raisins in there, a slightly green grassy note to that as well, a hint of smoke, definitely a hint of smoke. So this one here has a hint of smoke, not sure why, but maybe it's from the charring process, a bit of smoke that's been embedded in the wood. A slight minerality coming through on this one here. A very, very slight herbal note as well. I'm trying to figure out what herb it is. Licorice. Licorice and aniseed is what I'm getting. It smells very nice. Once again, the new make spirit is a little bit subdued on both, which is really a good sign for me. A little bit more insight into the whiskies. These are all made from New Zealand grown, local New Zealand barley as well. So that's quite cool. And it says on the back, it is from the purest water of New Zealand's southern snow. So they shovel snow from the road and no, I'm just kidding, they don't do that. But it's obviously very fresh water that they source from New Zealand snow. And you know what? New Zealand snow could be better than most snow because it's New Zealand snow, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, so quite excited to try it. Let's try the virgin oak. The base spirit is very nice. Quite a sweet base spirit, slightly herbal, not too much. A slight smoke to it. It has a slight smoky hit to it, not too much, but a very slight. I'm getting apricot, a little bit of spice, cinnamon, vanilla strong, very strong vanilla, the vanillin. I'm getting almost a bit of a custard taste to it. Quite a creamy sensation, and what surprises me is the finish is quite complex and long. For something that's so young, very complex. The finish is substantial, quite chewy, a bit of a mouthful. The complexity is there, but obviously because of its age, it's not going to be the most complex whiskey in the planet, because it's obviously time gives that. But the fact of the matter is, for such a young whiskey, the complexity is amazing. I'm completely shocked by it. Actually, I'm completely surprised when I drink this. And the new make spirit, you can taste that new make spirit a little bit, but it's not like moonshine. It's not like some craft whiskies that are so young that the new make just pops. The barrel interaction is very involved, and that really has gone a long way with the new make not being tasted so much. And tasting new make is not always bad. Tasting new make is actually a bit youthful and a bit vibrant, but in this case, I mean, if someone was to give it to you without telling you its age, it would be way beyond its years. In my opinion, I'd say someone would guess that it's at least 2, 3, maybe even double its age. That's what's quite interesting about it. French oak, I'm surprised by the French oak, the virgin French oak. I'm not usually a fan of virgin French oak because it's just too woody, but the pine on the nose subsides in the taste, but it's still there. It's very resiny as well. It's very delicious whiskey, really delicious whiskey. Let's try the port and sherry blend. So the port and sherry blend is much more robust in flavour, much more complex, sweeter too, less smoky but still smoky. I like a slight smokiness in there. I'm getting Christmas cake with a hint of overripe banana and overripe fruit. Overripe fruit, I'm getting a slight medicinal, like guava. Both of them have a slight medicinal note to it, but that's just the malt, the spirit, the base spirit must be that kind of, it gives off that kind of slightly medicinal note. And once again, that's a description, not a negative. The French oak is oilier than the sherry and port, but the sherry and port is much more robust and it pops. The sherry and port's finish is quite a bit longer than the French oak, but it's also a heavier drink, so depends on what you like. I wouldn't say one is better than the other, I'd say it depends on your mood. But once again, I'm super impressed with the age of this whiskey. I'm super impressed with the fact that it's only 3.5, 4 years old as a whole, and that it's, I'm just super impressed by it. I'm actually quite surprised because I've tried a lot of, and I don't review all of them. I don't review things too much that I know I'm going to bag because I just don't want to be that negative Nancy type of person. But I've had a lot of craft whiskies in New Zealand and just craft whiskies in general, and some of them are just like, okay, you know what? It's okay, but it'll be good maybe in another few years' time. This one, it's good now. It's good now. And what I'm excited about is after talking to the distiller, the distillers in the distillery, they are planning a lot more iterations of this in the coming years. So wherever there's an opportunity, they're putting down bigger barrels. They're putting down New Zealand Pinot Noir barrels, which is pretty exciting. I mean, we've got some big names out there that are actually using New Zealand Pinot Noir casks. You know, everyone uses Burgundy, but it's like New Zealand Pinot Noir is pretty good as well, and people are buying those barrels to make whiskies, to finish all mature whiskies with. So they actually have bigger barrels than this. So the next 3 to 5 years for these guys is going to be super exciting because, this is a micro barrel, only 3 to 4 years old. Imagine when it's 5 to 6 years old. I'm excited for the future of this distillery, and I think give it a go. And cigar pairings, look, it's quite a vibrant, youthful whiskey, and relatively heavy, the port and sherry, and light but spicy, the French oak. I would say for cigar pairings, I'd go with a Cuban cigar, something light to medium bodied, nothing too oily, just so it doesn't drown the taste of these. And yeah, in terms of water, no water. I didn't do water today. I don't think it needs it. This one here is a 44%, and this one here is a 46%. And so I don't think it needs water, and definitely doesn't need ice. Okay, we're not savages. And yeah, thank you for joining me today, and I will put a link of their website in the bottom of the review. Until then, please like this video. Even if you don't like it, just like it anyway. Just come on, man, give me a break. Thank you, cheers, until next time, eat, smoke, drink.
Until